Well, hello everybody. It's the silly Englishman back again with something a little different this evening. I did say last night I was trying to stream every night this week as a bit of a challenge from Twitch, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I'm a little later than usual. I'm still under the weather. In fact, I feel a bit worse today, which is not great. So I thought I'd do something that's maybe a little more focused, maybe a little shorter, and something that may be of interest to a number of people. And what I intend to do is have a look at a particular card, and the card I've selected is Viper's Maw. My reasoning for this is there was a game I was having a look at a little while back, and it was the Travis Gardner versus John Enkelberry match. Travis is basically playing a bloated version of Boom Wolf, which didn't go as well as expected for a number of reasons, and maybe I'll sit and do an analysis of that one of these days. And Enkelberry was playing a Steel Viper deck that was very aggressive, and when you look at the deck or actually go into it in depth, and he very kindly sent me a full list, it could be even more aggressive. And if you go and watch the match, and it's on YouTube, I encourage you to do so. It's quite an interesting match. Enkelberry really suffers in the mid game. He's got a few too many resources in his deck, but also he's playing a combination, and the combination uses Vipers more in an aggressive way, and in a particular way. And I think there's another way to use it. And that's one of the things I'd look to talk about, or at least discuss with your good selves. So, Viper's Maw is a Steel Viper only mission, and it's a very powerful end game finishing mission. So I was just trying to make the image a bit bigger for you guys. Hopefully you can see that. Viper's Maw, and the artwork on here looks awful. Go and see the original. There's so much more detail. Yes, it's a Franz Verwinkel. Yes, I know I love him, but it's a really good image if you get to see it. I'm not a great fan of orange, but it does come out nice here. So anyway, Viper's Maw, Steel Viper only mission. Play only when attacking and only during battle. So you've got to attack, and the guy's got to block. So there's a prerequisite there, and that is arguably probably enough of a requirement to allow the following text to happen and be reasonably balanced. Choose up to two opposing untapped units that are not in the battle. Tap those units, which then join the battle. So basically, you're going to add two extra units. Okay. And why would you want to do that? Is your first question. Basically, to sap things up. So let's just. I've got a load of cards here in the stockpile. I'll just turn them all over so I can throw them over the screen and show you what's happening. So if we just take a defending force, and I think this happened in the game or something like it. We have a Dasher, a Phantom Prime, and a Fenris Prime, and we will give Enkelberry a Koshi D, a Dasher Prime, and not a Crossbow A. We'll give him the Battle Cobra A. And the big mech here is the Battle Cobra A, the 155 overheat 2+2. And one of the reasons that Enkelberry's deck is very direct is I think he runs 3 Vipers Maw, 4 opposed, 2 forged mission orders, or even 3 of each, or some combination thereof. Unopposed, the classic, play only when you've only got the unit, it's unblocked, and it gets +X, where X is its base damage. So that basically means this Battle Cobra now does 5, plus its base damage of 5, it does 10, and you can overheat for 12. And 12 in a game of 40 cards is, I know it's 60 in the deck, you generally need 40 to win. 12 out of those 40 is a lot. it's more than 25%. Okay. The other classic is Forge Mission Orders. Play when blocked, remove one of the blockers, and untap it. So what Ankleberry did was I think he had a Koshi Prime, but I hate the artwork and I always pick the D instead, so forgive me if it's the wrong. He attacks with the Koshi, which is a 0-3-2. And Travis very rightly blocks with, I think it was the Fenris Prime. Probably the Fenris Prime, knowing that the 3 damage from the Fenris Prime will kill the Koshi, and he's looking for an easy trade. I'll get 1 damage on my Fenris, and then I've got 2 blockers to deal with these. I can probably trade Dasher into Dasher, or in fact, if I'm smart, I'll play Phantom into Dasher. The Phantom survives and the Dasher dies, and then I'll sacrifice the Dasher on the altar of Battle Cobra A, and I'm left with, because the Dasher's gone, the Koshi's gone, that Dasher's gone, I'm left with 2 mechs versus this mech. The only issue there is I've got 3-5 damage. I can't quite kill the Battle Cobra, not without it overheating. And they're fast and the Battle Cobra's medium. So you might be thinking, if I kill off this Koshi, kill the Dasher and survive, sacrifice the Dasher into here, then, and actually because of the Dasher damage on the Battle Cobra, you could probably pick it off with these 2 next turn. The ECM from the Phantom helps the Fenris, turning it into a 2-8, and then the Battle Cobra's doing 7, so the Fenris will survive if it's healed, because he'll take 1 damage from the Koshi. So that's probably the plan that's going around your head. If I can trade in a good way that gives me advantage, heal up, and then I can get rid of this Battle Cobra, and worst case, I will exchange a 5 resource, 5 cost Battle Cobra, which is probably the mainstay of Ankleberry's offence, to my reasonably solid, durable, but 3 cost Fenris Prime. And as I've traded 2 for 1 here, I'll literally wipe the board and be left with my Phantom Prime. Okay, it's slightly anemic with 2 damage, but it's a good trade. It's a good strategy. Okay, what he doesn't realise is that Ankleberry's playing Viper's Maw. And what happens is Ankleberry drops the Viper's Maw, taps both of these, and assigns the damage to the Dasher. Travis can only assign all of this damage to one thing, the Koshi. The Koshi goes splat, the Dasher goes splat. The Viper's Maw taps these 2 out, and then Ankleberry can tap for 3 off the Dasher. And in my scenario, now it's not quite the game, I'm pretty sure it isn't, but you get the idea. He can then go and tap the Battle Cobra, play the unopposed, and overheat for 12. And with the Dasher, in this case, that's 15 off the stockpile. I don't think it was quite that case, or he didn't attack. So let's just untap everything again and put that back. The other option for Ankleberry is, depending on who attacks, he could play a Forge Mission Order. And this is the nice bit with this combo. I've got to admit, this is a nice combo, okay? If it's 1 mech, if you block with 1, I can forge it. If you block with none, I can unopposed it. If you block with 1, I can pull 2 more in, and you don't know what I'm going to do because you don't know which card I've got. And it gives quite a strong quandary or decision-making process. And the other thing with the Koshi is it jumps. So you can jump and play a combination thereof. You could effectively attack with the Koshi and the Battle Cobra. And if he throws the Dasher in the way, then you could forge it, jump the Koshi, and then unopposed, your Battle Cobra for 12 plus another one off the Koshi. So there's plenty of options in there, and plenty of ways of keeping your opponent guessing. It's very offensive. If you look at Anklebury's deck, he doesn't run any defensive missions at all. So the idea being to attack with a small mech, Vipers more in the larger stuff, and sacrifice this small mech for a bigger hit, probably combined with unopposed, in order to do a pretty big chunk of damage. And it works. The only problem is that you're effectively sacrificing a mech. And if you go and watch, and all of a sudden, in this matchup, okay, Anklebury was lucky to get the dasher. I'm not so sure he did in the game. Maybe he didn't. But when you look in the game, mid-game, Anklebury is down on units. He's pulled the Vipers Maw combo into unopposed, and he's sacrificed a unit on board, at least one, and for damage, which is a classic chess strategy, but he's down on board presence. And that is a problem with this particular strategy, especially when you send in something small. So the other option, and I'm just going to move a few things around here, just to give, and this is just to exacerbate or make things slightly different. So at this point in time, the board has changed. There are 3 Dasher Primes, and this is just for simplicity. Okay, on the opposing side, and I have a Peregrine, a 055 with jump. Jump's nice again, and I have a crossbow. Okay, so you might think on the old strategy that you should attack with the Peregrine. Okay, and if you do that, there are a few things that could happen. Okay, the Dashers do 3, so you might think that your opponent will tap 2, knowing that he can kill the Peregrine, and then he's got a Dasher to block the crossbow. This creates a quandary for me, because I can forge 1, but and kill the Dasher, so I'm then down to 2 and 2. But then he's got 2 Dashers against my crossbow. I can Viper in this Dasher and kill 2, tap that Dasher, my Peregrine dies, and my crossbow gets to attack. But in each case, my Peregrine is dying, and you know that's fine. Maybe it's a good trade for me. Two for 1 is a good trade. 2 resources on the Dasher, 4 resources on the Peregrine. There's 2 of those. Then I'm trading 2 units for 1, but it's the same amount of resource effectively. Okay, so a lot of people like to attack with the small mech in order to sacrifice it and pull everything in, and that's how Anklebury worked it. But I'm going to propose to you the other option, which is to actually attack with the large mech, which is the crossbow. So it's a 287. Okay, these are not 2-3 Dashers. So 7 is a lot to take. If the guy thinks I'm running unopposed, 14 is a lot to take. He might chump. Okay, he'd probably chump, thinking I can trade my 2 Dashers for the Peregrine. I've got rid of the Peregrine. I've sacrificed 3 mechs to kill 1, but I haven't taken 14 damage. So at this point, if you unopposed and pull all 3 Dashers in, they're going to do 3, 6, 9. Okay, my crossbow is a hurting puppy, and maybe he's got a mission. You don't know. But I am trading 1 mech and a mission card for 3 mechs. So I can assign 7, 2 to each, 1 to the middle one, because why the hell not, and kill all 3 Dashers. If my crossbow stays alive, then great. If he kills my crossbow, he's probably got to play a mission. That's 4 cards for the cost of 2. So I think that's a pretty good trade. But what that does do, with all of this out of the way, is it gives me board presence. I've got my little Peregrine over here, which I'll tap and then go play an unopposed on, and do 10 in total. Okay, it's not quite the 14 of the crossbow, but it's 10. And next turn, he's got nothing. He's got nothing on the table. So, he might have a blocker. Okay, fine. Maybe I've got a dasher. Maybe I've got a phantom or something else. But there's a reasonably good chance that next turn, because I've got my forged in my hand, I can attack again and forge it. Chances are, mid-game, he might be able to put out 2 smaller units. He might be able to put out a bigger one. I mean, if he puts out a Fenris Prime, I'm going to forge it and hit him for 5. If he puts out 2 dashers, put those out instead, then I could forge one and kill the other. Then the next turn, he he plays 2 dashers. I play a Fenris. Actually, let's play it the other way. I'll play a Battle Cobra, and I'll show you why I play the Battle Cobra. I attack. He blocks with 2. I untap the 1 using forged. So that dies. My Peregrine takes 3. 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of my turn. The Battle Cobra sat there. He may decide to go face. Okay, he may decide to pick off the Peregrine, but he can't deal with 5 damage from both of them. If I've got a Fenris on the table, he can't attack because I'll block. He dies, and then I'm hitting him with 5. So I think my message is, it's not always Viper's Maw into sacrifice. And if you do Viper's Maw into a sacrifice, killing your own mech for board space or tapping his mechs out, then either it needs to be the end of the game, or you run the risk that you lose out on board presence. And if you look at the Enckelberry Travis Gardner match, he loses out on board presence, and he's on the back foot for a number of turns after that. For A, not having board presence, and B, not drawing anything to replenish that board presence. There's tweaks that can be made to that deck, obviously, but the point being that if you're going to sacrifice board presence, then you probably want to have 2 or 3 units in your hand. And if I was in that position and I hadn't got any replacements in my hand, I'd be thinking, should I do this now? Should I keep my Viper's Maw? Should I play it slightly safer for a turn or 2 and see what comes out? And Enckelberry goes for it, and it's a big hit, and it arguably has enough of an effect on the match, because Travis gets quite defensive in the respect that he's worried about his stockpile when he's playing a fast and aggressive dash deck. So that's my little Viper's Maw review. My advice is, yes, it's a finishing card. I know Enckelberry plays 3. I'm not sure you want more than 2 in a deck maximum, possibly only just the 1. If it gets scrapped, you can always black market for it. But it is a finisher card. It's one of those cards that will make a difference or end a game. And if you look at Chad's Worlds deck from 2000, which I think I can just pull up here. It's an Invading Clans deck. Where are we? Here it is. Let me just put a page break in there and make that a little larger. Okay, till the Pilcrow's off. 2 Dasher B, 2 Phantom D, 3 Fenris A, Crossbow B, Crossbow A, Support Logistics, Tactics, Black Market, Think Tanks, AMTs, War Funds, Improved Construction Facilities, the Invading Clans, Double Time Offense, Hidden Reserves, Merchant Cast, 1 Viper's Maw. just to finish the game. Obviously, he's got another game finisher there in double time offense. Tap everything, bring it back, come back again. Or even use the Viper's Maw on the first one to suck everything in, then double time, and then everything can attack again if it survives. So it's a well-versed and well-proven game finisher. And I would suggest that you should use it to that extent. As I said, Engelbrecht's strategy is interesting, especially with the combination of forged mission orders and unopposed. But I'm not sure that it works mid-game because you lose board presence. And he nearly lost the game because of it. It was quite a tight ending in the end. So, worth a watch. Anyway, thank you for listening to me having a good old yak and a quick review of Viper's Maw. And hopefully I'll be back tomorrow night with something more planned. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I've got quite a busy day tomorrow, but I will be around. I will do something. I'm going for the week, as I said, and I intend to do it. So hopefully catch you then. And if anybody is playing in the Big Mech tournament, good luck with that. Sorry I couldn't be there, but that's the way it is. Blood is thicker than water, I'm afraid. So I'll see you on the flip side. Take care of yourselves. It's a big bad world out there. Catch you soon.